Even actors like Meghan Markle and the Duchess of Cornwall, they use EFT for the fear of flying, or like things like that, where we basically trace down to the root cause of where you develop this emotional pattern. It impacts your aura. The way you speak about yourself becomes what you feel about yourself, which becomes what you believe about yourself, which becomes the way you act. If you're feeling ashamed about something, or guilty about something, or sad or angry or resentful, notice, watch, observe. Where is it in your body? Mostly we all feel it in the upper part of the body. It's in the throat or the chest or the heart area, or the gut, which is why a lot of people have gut issues. A violence or assault on a child physically, the body wants to protect itself. It doesn't want to be seen. So because of that fear that, oh my God, the child doesn't understand that it was assaulted in whatever way, whether it was sexually or physically. So just to not be seen and want to protect itself, it actually builds more and more flesh and weight around it, because that's the subconscious's way of protecting the body. So the women complain that my husband is just running away, doesn't want to hear. He keeps saying I'm nagging, I'm complaining, but he should hear me out. No, I'm just saying the same thing. I'm repeating the same thing. He's not listening to you because you're attacking, because you're not using these kind of statements. Use the statement that doesn't make him feel defensive. Somebody's fighting, somebody spoke badly to you. Are you going to ruin your day and your week and your month because of that, and carry that energy into the next day, into the next week, into your relationships? Learn how to emotionally regulate. That is the best gift you can give yourself.
Running away or repressing the emotions and stuff. But now I know that the only way forward is letting go, dealing with it, and then letting it go. So this is the why we need to do this, the why we need to know these techniques. Anxiety, self-doubt और past traumas. शायद ही कोई ऐसा होगा जिसने कभी भी इन चीजों से डील ना किया. According to World Health Organization, almost 38 million people in India suffer from anxiety disorders. And this is just one aspect of it. There are so many neurological diseases and disorders that are increasing every single day. And today I'm going to give you a very powerful technique that you can use any time of the day to heal from these anxiety, past traumas, and so much more. I have an amazing guest with me today who has already healed and changed the life of 500 plus people. She helps individuals go from feeling stuck to empowered. She helps them process their traumas, regulate their emotions, and rewrite their limiting thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, their patterns completely, so that they can lead a life with confidence, full of happiness. Isn't that what we all really want? So if you are someone who wants to get healed from all these barriers and limitations that life has put on you, or maybe yourself, and you want to lead a life full of confidence, happiness, and above all, peace, then you have to watch this episode till the end, because we will together empower you with all the hacks and techniques that you need on a daily basis to lead a peaceful and successful life. We are talking about EFT, Emotional Freedom Tapping Technique. You will learn everything about it, from its history to its application, to the techniques, to the results it can create, and how magical and at the same time scientific it is. We will also learn about a lot of psychological facts, behaviors, and emotional triggers. Everything that we do in our life, why do we do it, how do we do it, and how we can change our emotional patterns to in turn change our life. So for this episode, I recommend you to sit in a quiet environment where you can listen to yourself, your thoughts, your heartbeats, and your past experiences, because you're going to deal with all of them, and you're going to find the roadmap, the pathway to become your better version. Sit back, take a lot of notes, share this with anyone who is dealing with anxiety or any kind of depression or any emotional disorder. This can really help a lot of people. So help it reach a lot of people, and may this podcast help you begin your healing journey. Learn and enjoy. Hello, Manchal. Welcome to Convo with Ayush. How are you feeling today?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. I'm feeling great.
Yes, I'm super excited because one, this is my topic of interest, something I'm trying to study and learn about, and you are a maestro in it. So I'm very looking forward. I'm sitting here today as a student to learn each and everything that you can teach me about EFT. Okay, so this is just putting out there, and so it reaches as many people as possible because it's a very powerful technique. And many and most of the people who are even doing it, they also don't know how much we can use it and in how many ways. So that's my intention to bring out that in how many ways we can use EFT to change our lives, our personality, and our lifestyle as a whole. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's about it. But before that, I literally don't know anything about you. So let's start with that. How has your journey been, or how did you get introduced to EFT?
So I'll just keep my story brief, but I was teaching French for more than a decade. I was teaching in French high schools here in India and in university. And I also had a stint as a teacher, assistant language teacher in France for one whole academic year. And then the pandemic happened. And honestly, throughout my life, like that's something I realized once I started on this journey in 2021, when I experienced my first big panic attack, when I was choking and I couldn't breathe, and I literally thought that I wouldn't make it, I wouldn't survive that day, is when I really started on my healing journey. It's when I realized enough is enough. This is like a point of no return. I just can't go beyond this if I continue to feel this way. I had been feeling that way for a while. It just took me way too long to address it. I was feeling really low and sad, and I was crying for months into my pillow and crying myself to sleep for hours. My eyes were puffy. I had a lot of neck pains, shoulder pain, chronic pains. I was ill physically. I had chronic migraines. I had digestive issues. I had what was then diagnosed as depression later when I went to the doctor after the panic attack. I had anxiety attacks. I could not do normal things. I couldn't do something as simple as calling my friend and saying happy birthday on the phone. It came to that point, and I couldn't like breathe. I couldn't be normal. I couldn't feel okay enough to just be in a room filled with people. There was anxiety all the time with little tasks. Everything would overwhelm me. And then when I had the panic attack and I went to the doctor, and then I started on my healing journey, I say now that even though that was the darkest and the toughest period of my life, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been where I am today. And I started on this whole journey of healing, and I explored several healing modalities because I did not want to be on medication and, on a long term basis. And I also didn't want to depend on something outside of me to make me feel good and normal again. And I wanted to shift my identity, be somebody who's able to feel calm and centered and grounded. At that point, I didn't know what that felt like. I could only dream about it. I would see people, like this on podcasts and on television, and like inspiring personalities, because I was into personal development even before. But there's a very big difference between knowing what personal development is, consuming that content, and like following like 100 million influencers who are talking about self-love and self-care, and it all sounds so good, it sounds so nice and champagne and bubbly, but what's happening on the inside is what the truth is, what reality is, not what you're putting out there on Instagram, a happy picture of you when you're weeping away at home, or you have emotional eating issues, or you can't control your anger and you're feeling resentful and sad. So basically my journey started with EFT like that. Like I attended one of my mentors' masterclasses. Her name is Jennifer Partridge. I don't know if you've heard of her. So she's also an author at Mindvalley. She is a world-renowned tapping expert. I attended one of her masterclasses, and that was a bulb on for me. That was like, okay, wait, mind body connection. She's talking about addressing the root cause of how you feel like this. Of course, even I share these itty bitty content pieces on my Instagram where I say this technique will help you with anxiety, or that will help you. And there's a million like that on Instagram, 1.5 minute reels that tell you to manifest a different reality, talk about anxiety and emotional regulation. But the work happens here and it takes a while. These techniques are add ons, they help you, but when something doesn't shift here completely, which is your core vibration, your dominant frequency, your dominant pattern of thinking, feeling, behaving, because it's all rooted in your conditioning, in your childhood, in your belief system, is when these kind of things happen. It manifests in illnesses. I was bleeding internally, and then, one thing led to another. I started exploring EFT tapping on a deeper level. I decided to train and certify with Jennifer Partridge. And it was funny because I was prescribed a surgery, and then I didn't get the surgery done, even though I had the prescription with me because I was bleeding internally. because at the same time, Jennifer Partridge, my mentor, was holding something called the personal peace procedure in my certification. It was a long part of my certification where she said she guided us on this personal peace journey where right from our childhood till we were adults, we healed every aspect of our life and we
Wow.
cleaned out all the subconscious blocks, emotional, energetic blocks living in our body that we weren't even aware of, which was basically causing us all that physical, mental, emotional distress. And then just like that, my issue, which I had, healed. And the doctor told me this is going to be a chronic thing. You're going to keep coming back. You're going to need surgery. 3 years, touch wood, nothing has happened. Nothing has come back. And that's completely gone. So I pretty much like healed mentally, emotionally, physically with emotional freedom techniques, with the process that she teaches us, because she has incorporated 33 potent techniques. She's also learned a little bit. She learned Reiki. She's learned yoga from the ancient sciences in India. She's learned from Tony Robbins, neuro-linguistic programming, and she's infused a bunch of techniques. So the inner child healing that I did, the ancestral generational trauma healing, which I did, but I could feel the fears of my ancestors in the training certification, which when I went back and told my grandmother and my parents, they were like, wow, how did you think of that? I was like, I don't know. It was channeled in one of the guided processes. And I could feel like I was clearing out stuff from a very root level instead of going to the doctor where you just take a pill, where we always take a pill for a stomachache or a headache. I would take Disprins, I would take things all the time. But this was like going inside, finding the root cause, pulling it out from there and just freeing myself. And I felt liberated. My neck pain, my shoulder pain, everything just went away. I started feeling lighter. I lost a lot of weight because it was all emotional weight that was in my body. Trauma is stored in the hips and, in your stomach and all of that. And I have a picture of it on my Instagram where I looked at 33 and when I look almost 38, it's so different now. Like I look and feel younger in my body, in my mind. And there's just been never like a going back. I'm happy to be in the space where I'm in my power. I can regulate my emotions. And it's not about control, it's about perception, how I perceive reality through the adversities and the challenges. So that's a little bit of my journey. That's how I trained to be an EFT
Amazing.
coach.
Perfect. I think the learning has already started because I've been reading Louise Hay, and this is very recent when I commenced into this process of going into the root level of the causes. And I realized now that all the physical issues that anyone is facing, it comes from a very deep, intense, dark emotion, and that is manifesting into some physical illness or anything that you're facing. And now I'm starting this exact journey, and I'm really, really intrigued to know how it goes down. And it's very scary. People feel very like, oh, wow, this is a new technique. Let me try this, let me try that. But it is very scary because when you are actually healing these things, it comes out to the surface like it's boiling. And to go through that phase, you really need a really good mentor to take you through it. So, wow. So you said you have dealt with a lot of emotional and physical issues. Maybe if you're comfortable, you can share like how did it lead to that kind of stage where you need a surgery? Because there will be many people who are already that stage, and there will be some people who are commencing towards that stage by suppressing their emotions or not taking care of their healing journey or not even being aware of it. So we can actually stop that if they are just aware that each and every one of us have something that we need to heal through either, like you said, the ancestral journey or through our childhood. So each and every one, I think, should have a basic knowledge or some basic techniques, whether it is Reiki, EFT, Ho'oponopono, there are tons of them available now, through which they can heal themselves in some way. So whatever little light you can shed on it, whatever you're comfortable with, and then we can dive deeper into the modality.
Did you want me to share some techniques that can help people, or just about my personal journey with?
Yes, we will come to the techniques, but firstly, people need to know how it works. Like, right, how we reach to the stage where it is manifesting into some really heavy diseases,
right,
and how we can stop that, how we can avoid it.
Okay. So the first thing I would say is me, just like most people today, did not understand the concept of emotional regulation. So that is something where you recognize and you're aware of your emotions and you give them space and you allow them to be. They're like little kids, like their screams will keep getting louder if you don't hear them. So, every time you feel guilt or pain or shame or anger or resentment, a lot of the times, most people will end up suppressing it or repressing it or hiding from it or escaping from it or using an unhealthy coping mechanism. People will drink alcohol to forget it. People will binge watch Netflix. They'll be like, oh, then I'll feel better. I don't need to feel this pain that I'm feeling. My husband yelled at me today. My mother-in-law did this today. My boss didn't treat me well, and I'm just feeling really angry, resentful, sad, upset. So let me eat a bag of chips. Let me eat tons of chocolate. Let me go out and drink, or let me, like whatever, smoke or binge watch something. These are all unhealthy coping mechanisms. And this is something that's going to never allow them to see and feel those feelings. And then you know what? They're just going to keep coming back stronger. They're going to keep getting louder until you hear them. All they want is your love, your empathy, your understanding, your compassion. They want to be held like little babies. And just if you can passively observe your emotions. What is emotion? It's an energy in motion. It's there to come and transmute and release through your body. So if you're feeling ashamed about something or guilty about something or sad or angry or resentful, notice, watch, observe. Where is it in your body? Mostly we all feel it in the upper part of the body. It's in the throat or the chest or the heart area, or the gut, which is why a lot of people have gut issues, which is why it leads to a lot of lifestyle illnesses like even blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. There's so much scientific research that is saying that this is all connected to unresolved, unprocessed emotional experiences, incidents. So you stuff it down, it becomes like you are just covering up a scar. You can keep covering it up, but it'll always be there. So every time something hits that scar, it's going to hurt 10 times more. So if you already have a pattern from your childhood of feeling rejected or abandoned or ignored or unloved, or some emotion need has not been met as you grow into an adult, every single person, every single situation that you're in, you're going to repeatedly attract that because you haven't learned the lesson yet, and that's going to trigger you. So every time you're emotionally triggered, instead of trying to drink it and smoke it away and trying to do something else or like run away from it, sit down, give it space, give it time, understand why it's happening, recognize it, bring it your love, bring it your empathy, and allow it to just be there in your body. Let it be there and feel it to heal it. You literally have to feel it. If you escape it, it's going to get bigger, it's going to get bigger, it's going to get louder. And you know when it will get your attention? When you get a scan and they tell you there's a lump or there is some kind of tumor or there's some kind of something, and then you're going to be like, oh my God, where is this coming from? I eat so healthy. A lot of people have this misconception. I eat my 3 meals, I do my macro, I have a protein, I exercise. I know many people like that. I was one of them. For 10 years, I was like, I exercise, I go to the gym, I do kickboxing, I do yoga, I do swimming, I eat well, I don't eat unhealthy food outside, I don't eat fried food, I don't eat junk. Why am I so sick? Why do I have so many issues? Because I didn't get to the root of the issue. I was just treating the symptoms. The symptoms are always going to be there. They're going to get worse. So if people don't understand that they're running away from their emotional experiences, there is unresolved emotional experiences, and people think, they also have a misconception that that means you're controlling. No, you're actually going to just feel your emotions, release, give them space, and transmute them from your body, and that will give you your power back. You can stay in your power. You will not be emotionally triggered by anything and everything. If your boss yells at you, you're not going to take it personally. If somebody is shouting somewhere, you're not going to make it about you, because that's our ego self. But our spiritual self, our real self, we know that that's not about you, and you're not going to get so emotionally triggered. You're not going to give your power away to every person on the road. If somebody is yelling on the road, somebody is fighting, somebody spoke badly to you, are you going to ruin your day and your week and your month because of that and carry that energy into the next day, into the next week, into your relationships? Learn how to emotionally regulate. That is the best gift you can give yourself, because you will be powerful and you can stay in your power. Where it belongs is with you. Your power belongs with you. So that's what I have to say on that.
Beautiful. And that is the exact same mistake I have been doing as well. Running away or repressing the emotions and stuff. But now I know that the only way forward is letting go, dealing with it, and then letting it go. So this is the why we need to do this, the why we need to know these techniques. Now let's start with the very basics. What is EFT? Like, I know it comes from a Chinese medicine concept in combination with acupuncture, and it's, I think, not very ancient as well. It's recent, like developed properly in 90s, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
So yeah, let's start with the very basics. To the people who are hearing this for the first time, what is emotional freedom tapping technique? So let's
Okay.
have it from the very basics.
Great. Okay. So EFT is emotional freedom techniques, also known as tapping. Why tapping? Because we're literally tapping using our fingertips to tap on the acupressure points. So just like the Chinese, it's a blend. It's a blend of three things. One is the ancient Chinese medicine, which is rooted in acupuncture and acupressure, which is based in the meridian system, on the meridian system of the body, because we have energy lines, meridian lines flowing throughout the body, which bring prana or life force. And that is what keeps us in an energetic, healthy, balanced state, emotionally, physically. And the second part, I'll get into what that is in detail later, but the second thing that it is modern psychology. So it is based on cognitive behavioral therapy. It also draws from exposure therapy, where you expose yourself deliberately to your fears, your trauma, your unconscious patterns, which is something people find scary, but I say it is freedom. It's like being in a cage and then coming out of the cage and feeling like a free bird. And then the third thing is neuroplasticity, which is literally the brain's ability to rewire itself. We have all these neurons that they are formed at a very young age, and we continue to think that way, believe that way, feel that way for years. So when it comes to the neuroplasticity part, basically we're retraining the brain to form new neural pathways, to think differently, to choose what we want to think, how we want to behave, and how we want to feel on a regular basis, create new emotional and behavioral patterns. So let's just say, for example, as a child, you ate fish and it got stuck in your throat. So, even as a 40 or 50 or 60-year-old adult, you're like, no, I don't want the fish. You don't even question why. Maybe you like the smell of it. You're like, oh, it smells so good, but I don't want to put it in my mouth. Why? Because the body is soma. Soma is the word in Latin for body. Your body holds the memory of anything that was not comfortable or didn't feel good in your system, right? Your nervous system remembers in the form of your body, which is your subconscious mind. So you don't have the actual memory of where you were sitting, what fish you ate, where it was, but you will remember what it felt like, because when you go near it, you're going to feel that same feeling. That's why even as a 60-year-old adult, you just don't want to eat the same fish. So we're talking about neuroplasticity. We address these kind of fears. We go into particular incidents. This, I gave you just a basic incident, but people have different kinds of phobias. They have fear of flying. They have, even actors like Meghan Markle and the Duchess of Cornwall, they use EFT for the fear of flying, or like things like that, where we basically trace down to the root cause of where you develop this emotional pattern of either snapping and getting angry when somebody speaks in a little loud voice to you. It doesn't mean that it was about you. It was because they were going through something, and because you as a child have been yelled at by an authority figure, you've developed this emotional trigger of reacting when somebody speaks to you in a little high voice. So all of these things is neuroplasticity. We use this brain's ability to rewire itself, choose new patterns, and the same triggers will go away, and the same phobias will melt away, and will feel like a whole new person. So we use Chinese medicine, acupressure points, the meridian points. They're all end points of meridians that we specifically tap on. While verbalizing our emotions, thoughts, negative issues, we give voice to it. We bring it out in the open so that it gets that chance and the opportunity to be heard, felt, seen, and validated, and loved and understood. And then we use modern psychology techniques. There's a lot of them. And then we use the power of neuroplasticity to literally shift your identity and choose the empowered state of being that you want to be. So that's EFT in a nutshell. There's a lot more to know.
Wow. There's so many questions coming to my mind right now. Like you talked about CBT. So basically, it's for the people who are having very serious anxiety attacks. And many people must have faced that during or after COVID, especially. Yeah. So the first thing is, how many things we can heal with this? Because you have clearly told that 3 things are working in action. So it can be used in multiple ways for multiple things. But let's focus on healing first. So what all diseases can be healed through EFT, or is there any limitation?
Okay, that's a great question. So, the person who founded EFT, Gary Craig, actually said it can be used for everything. Now, why do we say that? Is because everything starts with emotion, the state of feeling. So every physical illness has somewhere originated in the energetic and emotional body first. So Louise Hay, if you know, also has a book called Heal Your
Yes,
Body, and she
I'm
talks
reading
about,
that right now.
yeah, it's a beautiful book. So, you know how she talks about every serious illness also first starts in the energetic and emotional body. It's all of those things which you've repressed and suppressed for a very long time. So, your question was what kind of diseases? I would say that if we work on the underlying emotional component, we can work on any disease. This does not mean that this replaces medical aid or medical diagnosis. We do not treat or medically diagnose anything with EFT. It's a great complementary therapy, but even on its own, when we work on underlying emotional issues, go into the subconscious, and especially with the dream awake method that I've been trained in by my mentor, we use a blend of 32 techniques, which is inner child healing, ancestral trauma healing. We use breath work, we use movement, we use NLP, neuro linguistic programming. We use a blend. We use so many techniques, higher self healing, future self healing, all of that. So when it comes to all of these techniques, we're basically addressing the underlying emotional component of any pain. So for example, Ayushi, if somebody has chronic headaches, how do you think they feel on a regular basis? They're probably frustrated, feeling helpless, powerless, sad because they can't do certain things. So we work on all of that. When we work on all of that, we are really, we're alleviating the physical pain as well, even knee pain for that matter, or anything like that. When you're talking about diseases, or there's been so many case studies. If you just read about it, there's been clinical trials that are done. There are so many autoimmune diseases that EFT is being used for, even for cancer trials in the US now, and for weight loss. Now people say, okay, how does EFT have anything to do with losing weight in my body? So I'll tell you three things. I'll tell you my own experience with weight loss. So first thing is, I was an emotional eater. Every time I was upset about anything, and back then I was living from the outside in. Any factor outside, circumstance, people, situations would trigger me, upset me, irritate me. My boss did this. Somebody said this. Somebody in my family said this. My husband said this. My sister said this. My father said this. I would get irritated, angry, upset, sad, whatever. I would go and feed myself. I would basically be feeding my emotion, not myself. Until I got to this, I would stuff myself till I felt better. So now that emotional eating was because I could not regulate my emotions. So once you learn how to do that, and you become, powerful, because now when anything happens, I first give myself space. I take a pause. I sit with myself and I regulate my emotions with different ways. I'll probably share that later. But when you do that, especially with EFT tapping, you can change your emotional state really quickly. You have learned how to deal with your emotions in a healthy way, and you don't need to look for food to make you feel better. Then you just feel you have the power to feel better on your own. So that's one way it helps, in weight loss. Second thing it can help is when you're addressing things that come from your childhood. Maybe you have, an association to sugar or salty stuff or something that happened in your childhood. It made you feel better. It was comfort food for you. So you're repeating that as an adult. So you can literally use it for things like physical pain, any kind of physical chronic pain. Second, you can use it for autoimmune diseases. You can use it for anxiety. It's one of the most effective ways. There are studies done online, because it's a science-backed, proven technique. There are studies online that say that 6 to 8 sessions of emotional freedom techniques can actually be equivalent to 1 year of regular therapy. 1 year therapy sessions. That's why EFT is being used for war veterans. The people that have been in war and they have trauma, they have nightmares, they've come back and they can still see and feel
PTSD.
A lot of violence, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So EFT is really good because we go and tap on each element, where it's the sound, the smell, the sight, what you've seen. So when I work with clients, we go into their childhood memories, go into the subconscious. They're so shocked to discover some incident which happened to them when they were 3 years old or 5 years old or 8 year old. And then you can see them becoming that child again. So that we tap on every single element, what they saw, which made them feel that fear. I'm giving an example of fear. It can be any emotion. What they saw, what they felt, what they touched, what they smelled, and what they heard. So when we tap on these 5 sensory aspects, that emotional charge is gone from that incident. They think of the same incident now as after the session, and they don't feel that same pain. They don't feel the same fear, the sadness, the guilt, the tears, and all of that. It's all just released. So literally, we can work on anxiety, depression, any kind of emotional issue, any kind of, if you feel betrayed, you feel heartbroken over a relationship, you can heal. Gut issues. Oh my God, a lot of gut issues, because a lot of times we can't digest parts of our own reality. So that is very powerful, where we are trapped right there. This happened to me. This happened to me. Why did this happen? I'm such a good person. Why did this God do this? God didn't do anything. It was a bunch of factors which got you to where it got you. And so just to answer that question, what it can help with, pretty much any emotional, physical, and mental issue that you can think of. And even for financial blocks, because they come from some pattern that you've picked up in your childhood conditioning, or somewhere that you've learned something which is not your own belief. So it can be, that's why when people say, how can I manifest a successful career by doing EFT? It makes no sense. It's because we work on their unconscious beliefs about their self-concept, self-esteem, self-confidence, their money blocks, their financial blocks. And that's how we release them with emotional freedom techniques. So it can be used for pretty much anything. You name it.
Perfect. That was exactly actually one of my further questions. Like, can we use it for manifestation and everything? Because I've heard about it. And this, everything you said so far, it is so relatable on so many levels, because these are the exact things that we do. So you said basically we are reverse engineering, like we are targeting the emotions that might have created certain ailments. And when we are correcting those emotions, the ailment automatically gets corrected.
Exactly. Right? Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. So this is what EFT is for us. And now we know that it's amazing technique and each and everyone should know it. But like you said, we go to the root issues, and that is not the easy part. That is the toughest part, in fact, I think. So we should do it under the guidance of a mentor, or can we do it ourselves by learning, through, like people are doing, through courses or podcast or just YouTube videos? Because it can work both ways. It can backfire on you as well if you're not doing it the right way. So what are your thoughts on this? Should we do self-healing with EFT, or we should get a proper mentor and then dive into these deeper aspects of it?
Okay, so I'll answer that in two parts. Absolutely, you can follow YouTube videos, but again, you have to know that that will give you momentary relief. It's just like saying that I want to, let's say somebody has PCOS and they have thyroid issues and they want to lose 20 kgs. And then they can go online, they can get nutritional plans, they can get diet plans, they can get workout videos which they can work out too. So, and they still don't lose weight. They still have the thyroid and PCOS, and they say, oh, I did all of this. How come I didn't get the results? It's because everybody has a unique emotional signature, energy signature, emotional issues that only you know. Like when I work with clients, it's always what the surface is completely different, and what we go into and discover is completely different. So yes, it will help you to do little videos, tap along guided videos, YouTube videos, but it could also just give you momentary relief because it's not addressing the root cause. Or if you're the kind of person who has not had that deep-rooted issue, then it could give you better results than somebody else. So absolutely, by all means, guided courses, guided videos are great. But if you're looking to really heal a pattern, you're experiencing a negative, repeated pattern in your life again and again, attracting the same kind of toxic patterns of relationships, or finances, or career blocks, or self-concept issues, then definitely with a practitioner, with the guide, with a mentor who can help you go into spaces within yourself which you may not allow yourself to go, and which you may not know how to go into. So yes.
Correct. So on basic level, you can do it on your own, but if you want to go advanced level, you do need a mentor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And now you said it's also associated with our neuroplasticity. So we can obviously change our whole personality through it. If we can just deal with, like you said, self-worth, these are the common issues, especially with women, the eating issues, the PCOS included, guilty as charged.
There's no guilt. There is absolutely no guilt in this. I mean, honestly, that's one thing. Actually glad that you brought up that word, and not to interrupt you and cut you off, but I also know that my self-talk has completely changed with emotional freedom techniques. I was somebody who was so hard on myself. I would blame myself, criticize myself, judge myself constantly. And I know for a fact that most of us do it every day. We're all doing it. And the fact that you say, I'm guilty as charged, if you have PCOS, or if you have anxiety, or if you have whatever, You're literally blaming it. It's just like correcting a child. If the child is doing something wrong, would you expect the child to change by yelling at it or saying this child is guilty of doing this, or would you help that child change with love and empathy and compassion and understanding? It's pretty much the same. Like when we had these illnesses, they're just getting our attention. They're saying, "Look, I'm here. Do something about it. Address what you haven't addressed before." So
Ah,
really guilty about. It's about loving it. It's about loving your body. It's about talking to your body parts with love. And people have healed cancers and things like that by talking to their body parts with love. Not just that. Please don't think that I'm saying that all of this is a magic pill in 1 minute, but I'm giving you little elements. But talking to your body with love is so powerful. Talking to yourself with love and acceptance and compassion and kindness is so powerful. So no guilt there, just that this is what I'm going through, but I have the power to change it.
this is a huge bulb one actually, because like everything that you're facing is just a little child craving for attention, basically. And we are just addressing it the wrong way. Wow, that was a huge one for me. Thank you so much. So now we can dive into the simpler activities that people can do on a daily basis. Let's divide it into parts. Maybe start with the common healing, and then we can dive into, like you said, finances and relationships and career enhancement. So we can literally use it for all of these things. So if you can just give teensy tiny techniques for them.
Okay. One thing is you're talking about techniques that they can practice daily. One thing I would definitely say is to start to change your self-talk. One is catch yourself, be in that self-awareness, because honestly, that will change a lot. It impacts your aura. The way you speak about yourself becomes what you feel about yourself, which becomes what you believe about yourself, which becomes the way you act. So if you say, I am a failure, I'm not worthy, I'm terrible, I'm not good enough, I'm terrible at this, or whatever your self-talk is, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm whatever, you're basically making that a part of your energy, making a part of your vibration, making it a part of your frequency, and that's what you emit. And then no wonder people are treating you badly. No wonder people are treating you, throwing you around, and or doing all this people pleasing and like looking for external validation and approval, because on the inside that's what's happening, and the world is mirroring that. So, for example, you walk into a room, Ayushi, like who attracts you? Somebody who you see looks really confident, looks like they own the room. They have this energy about owning the room. So you're like, and there's everybody who's like moth to a flame. Everybody's going to that person. They want to know more about that person. They want to talk to that person. You're like, how interesting! I want to hear from this person. And you go towards that person because you're literally attracted to their aura. And there's one person who's sitting in the corner, really sad, with their head down. They're not looking. Would you even notice that they exist? And that person, imagine this is that person's reality. And it's so sad when I see this. I've also been through it, so I know what it's like. That person sitting there and going, nobody loves me, nobody cares. Look, everybody is just all over the place, but there's not one person who's come and asked me how I'm doing. Not one person has looked at me. Not one person cares about me. No, it's not that nobody cares about you. It's because that's a part of your energy signature, your emotional signature, your aura. That's the frequency you're emitting. So imagine if that person loved themselves, saw themselves as valuable, saw themselves as somebody who deserves to be heard and seen. How do you think that will change their energy if they feel that way about themselves? Then they will also have those people coming in. I am not putting anybody down by saying this. If somebody is sad and whatever, it's just your awareness that if you feel the world is against you, if you feel that people don't treat you well, stop looking for things on the outside to change. First, work on it here. And I promise you, I write it and give it to you. Things will change on the outside. So first thing is be aware of the self-talk. What you think about yourself, what you feel about yourself, what you say to yourself every day. Everybody has this thing. I've heard a lot of people saying this. I'm so stupid. I just left this here. Yes, it's one single sentence that you said, but you say it so often and you say it in so many ways, and you don't realize how much it becomes
It's
a part.
affecting.
Okay, so continuing from there, the self-talk is one thing. So that's not really a technique, but being self-aware also realize. So take a journal every single day and write down, how did I feel today? What did I think today? And if you were triggered by somebody emotionally, write down what exactly triggered you, so you start to just become aware of your patterns. Second thing that I would say is definitely emotional freedom techniques. So you can use it with something called a basic recipe, but I won't go into that now. It's there on my Instagram, it's there on my YouTube as well. People can always watch that. There are certain points and there is a certain way to do it. The basic recipe includes a setup statement which you say, then there is acceptance, and then it's got a process of 5 steps. That's just for simple issues and you want to change your emotional state very quickly. So you can just watch that on my YouTube. I have it for stress, I have it for overwhelm, I have it for, I'm going to bring out one on anxiety and one on self-love. I have one which people have loved, which is just about understanding yourself, loving yourself. I also have one to release a bad day. So, EFT is something that you can practice every day because you're really verbalizing and actually saying what's wrong out loud, and then you're giving your body space and bridging yourself into a more positive state. Because I do not believe in fake positivity, false positivity, toxic positivity. It's not about saying, I'm confident, I'm great, I'm happy, I'm so good. And inside you're like, I feel so terrible, I feel horrible. So no, it doesn't work like that. You give voice to the negative first, which is why I love EFT, because we are giving, it's so real, everything. So that is one thing. That second thing. Then nervous system regulation tools, you can use so many. One thing which is really simple, which people can do every night, is just kind of signal to your body that you're safe. We're living in this environment today, which just puts you in a fight or flight mode or freeze mode sometimes. Of course, that's not going to heal your trauma. It's not going to heal you majorly deeply, but just doing this every day, it's a nervous system regulation technique, because you're literally signaling to your body that you are safe. And we're not, our subconscious brain, like our brain is very primitive. It hasn't evolved from the primitive time where we were afraid of tigers trying to protect ourselves. Now the threat is traffic, or somebody saying, a boss yelling at you becomes a fight or flight response. So what you can do is do this. It's very simple. First, you give yourself a nice hug, like a really nice, you can do that with me right now if you like.
Yeah. Actually, we already do this when we are actually feeling lonely or something, but we wait for things to go sideways, then we do it. It's rather we do it daily. Yeah, sure.
Every day. So this is one quick, like 30-second. People say, I don't have time. I'm like, when it is important to you, you will make the time, and you can always hug yourself wherever you're sitting in the night, like this on the bed, and then do this. So when you do this, you can start to feel the shift in your nervous system. You start to feel calmer, more relaxed. The other thing that I say is always do a self-massage. So you take both your hands and the back of the neck. I'm not going to go turn around fully, but just the back of your neck. We don't have to go to a therapist. We can always be our own therapist in so many ways. So just kind of massage your neck slowly. And this is something that you can do every single day. So you're kind of just relaxing yourself after a long day. Very simple. Literally under a minute can be done. The self hug, the one that I showed with interlocking your arms and just moving them up and down, just kind of giving yourself a self massage, just kind of rubbing your hands, creating that heat, putting it on your eyes for a couple of seconds. So I'm just trying to go quick because there's so many techniques like that. One which I really love is every single morning creating an protective energy shield around myself. Again, that's a tool that I love because a lot of people say, what do I do? There's so many people who are negative around me. Everybody's so negative and I get so affected. Honestly, if your energy is so strong, if your aura is that strong, you can go into a room full of depressed people and feel nothing. That energy will not affect you. It's only when you have energy leaks, which is not a bad thing. It's just making you self-aware that if your energy needs to be protected, because you are in an environment where we have this electromagnetic field around us, which is a part of our energy. So it affects others and theirs affect us, which is why you can sense the vibe when you go into a room. You can feel the energy. If somebody's, really angry, you can feel it. If somebody's really sad, you can feel it. So if you're really strong and you have a strong energy shield, so people always say, how do I get away from the negativity that's around me? You become emotionally stronger. You become emotionally independent. You raise your emotional signature and energy signature. So I always wake up in the morning, I do my prayer, and I put this energy shield protective bubble around me, and I say, nothing that is meant, whatever is not meant to be received by me and absorbed by me will never touch this bubble. It'll just stay there and it'll fall off. If somebody's saying some rubbish to me, it'll touch that bubble and just fall to the ground. It won't even come close to me. So it doesn't matter what they say. It really doesn't matter. So I don't get affected so easily by people's words or what they say. That's one thing they can do. They can also put that energy shield around their loved ones, because I know moms are very scared. I tell my clients who have kids, I'm like, and people who are sick in their house, aging in-laws or parents who are unwell, and you're always worried, you're in the office and you're thinking about them when they're at home and they're not well. Always mentally put like an energetic shield around them and say, they are protected and safe. And that gives you that peace, which your peaceful energy will translate to them and help them on their healing journey, rather than you. Can you imagine, Ayushi, somebody's in the hospital and that patient is there, or somebody who's unwell, and you're like, oh my God, they're not well. And oh my God, what's going to happen? Is that going to help them? You being
You're
at
just
peace.
adding to the negativity.
Exactly. So you being at peace, you being strong, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping everybody around you. So raise your energetic signature. Second thing is appreciate. Another thing is appreciation. If you can't do gratitude, a lot of people are like, I have nothing to be thankful for. My life sucks. Okay. But you can appreciate some things. You can appreciate the bed you slept on. You can appreciate that cup of warm coffee you got. You can appreciate the weather outside. You can appreciate that there something in your life. So you can start with that and start to appreciate that. So then you'll find more reasons to appreciate. That's how the ripple effect is. Then you can do left nostril breathing. Again, that's a very simple technique. Just inhaling. My favorite one, which I do in EFT with my clients, and I also do for myself, is just put one hand on your heart. We did this before we started our session today, so podcast today. So one on your belly, one on your heart. Take a deep breath in all the way down from the belly. So you're pulling the energy up from the deepest part of your belly. And then you make this sound. A lot of people feel very uncomfortable, but the deeper your sigh is, the more you release stuck energy. So you see how
it does feel different.
So if you can really make that sound. Imagine that. Isn't that different from the first time?
Yeah, better. Wow.
Okay, so you can do a lot of these deep belly breaths. So I'm just giving you 60-second techniques. Pick the one that resonates with you. You're in a meeting, your boss has said something, you're angry, you can go into your bathroom and do this. So you don't really need anybody. You don't need like a 15-20 minute window to do this. That's why I'm giving you guys just really simple. The 5-4-3-2-1 technique, that's on my Instagram, where you take literally a minute to list down 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can, the 5-4-3-2-1 is a mindfulness technique. So I'm just saying the names so that people can do that. Going outside, this is something that most working professionals don't realize. They're inside a box all day long and they don't go out and smell the fresh air or just be with nature. I would say hug a tree, but a lot of people say I'm not crazy, I'm not going to do that, but it has healing properties. You can always just go and touch a plant, a tree. So that's there. These are all nervous system regulation techniques, grounding, walking on grass, and honestly asking yourself the right kind of questions. The quality of your life is determined by the questions that you ask. It's not, oh my God, I'm going through this. It's like, how can I find a solution? It's not about the resources. It's about becoming resourceful. So you can always ask those kind of questions. How can I find the help that I need? They say, oh, the moms say, I don't have a minute to myself all day. I have kids, I have a husband, I have this. I don't have a minute to myself. And instead of saying, I don't have, say, how can I find that minute to myself? And your brain is so powerful, your subconscious brain, it will find you an answer. It will give you that minute somehow. It will create it for you. And you'll have this bulb on like, oh, this pocket of window, this time can be my self-care time. So always ask the right question. That's another technique if that works. So just live from the inside out rather than the outside in. Stop complaining about the circumstances in the situation and change things inside. So just a few techniques that I could share literally.
Wow. That was like bang on, back to back solution. And
I have lots, but I'm just keeping it short right now.
Yeah, no, but I realized that I have been doing on and off many of these things subconsciously without even realizing that these are like, proper scientific techniques. And I was missing the psi thing. So that's a new thing I learned today. I'm going to incorporate that now. So
the what?
And even the psi that we did, because I do the basic breath work, but this psi thing I have not done properly until now. I didn't even it didn't register my brain that this can also work and enhance or strengthen and speedify the process. So
yeah.
Yes.
It clears the stuck energy from any emotional distress.
Like instantly I can feel a change in my mood also, like escalated energy with just 2 sighs. So this is literally scientific as at the same time magical. So thank you so much for each and everything that you shared. It's literally striking every nerve, like answering so many things right in front of me. So thank you so much for this. So now that you have dealt with so many, your students, you have seen so many cases. Can you share any particular case study? Because you said that people generally go to emotional eating, and that's why they are carrying weight or this PCOS or thyroid or hormonal issues. But there are also some people who are doing everything right, like they have nothing going against them, but still they are like just gaining weight without any reason. So it must have been a very long some trauma or something that happened or some repetitive thing that they faced in their life, and they've constantly been suppressing it, which leads to like sudden raise in weight, 10 kgs, 20 kgs, 30 kgs, and they have no idea where it is coming from. So just an example, so these kind of cases you must have dealt with way advanced versions of these. So can you share a few?
Yes, I will share their transformation. Whatever they have shared in their client testimonials on my YouTube and Instagram, I am allowed to speak about that, and also not just, not their story, of course, because that's confidential information, but whatever I can share about their transformation. Also, just one thing I wanted to add about the weight that you said is also the body adds weight and more flesh to protect you from something. Just for example, this is actually proven in case studies where there has been some sort of a violence or assault on a child physically. The body wants to protect itself. It doesn't want to be seen. So because of that fear that, oh my God, the child doesn't understand that it was assaulted in whatever way, whether it was sexually or physically. So just to not be seen and want to protect itself, it actually builds more and more flesh and weight around it, because that's the subconscious's way of protecting the body. So there is a lot of studies that have been done. It's been written about as well. So that is also one of the things that this is for people to just understand and see that if they've experienced something like that in their childhood, it's something that they can look to heal and release, because that will also help with the weight loss. I'm not saying that's the only definitive reason. I just gave one of those since that came to my mind now. And since you asked me about clients, I work with people with different kinds of issues, autoimmune diseases, and ranging from depression to anxiety. A client of mine also recently shared in her testimonial how she had fibromyalgia, so she had lots of aches and pains. Clients who had gut issues, clients who had people-pleasing tendencies, they had seeking external validation and approval, very low self-worth, but people don't know that they have low self-worth. That's when they realize that they only realize that when within our sessions it comes up that in their childhood, for whatever reason, their emotional needs were not met. And there's a lot of these basic emotional needs that every child needs to be met, which is the need to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be appreciated, to be understood, to be validated, to be supported. And a lot of these needs are either not met by their caregivers, which is whoever's taking care of them, whether their parents, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents, or sometimes their peers, their teachers. And the child only sees the world through the lens of what they're seeing. Maybe the teacher once said in a classroom that, sit down, what you've written is all rubbish. From that time, the child just shrunk and said, I'm not worthy of being heard, so I should just keep quiet. And that child can potentially grow up to be an adult who never expresses themselves in relationship. The other person is doing something that is hurting them, and they're just like, no, I can't say it. It's dangerous. It's not safe. Can't express this. So there's so many patterns like that I've helped my clients uncover and discover when we go deep into these sessions where we do the inner child healing, the generational trauma. So that's something where you carry in your genes and your DNA, you carry certain things where if you've tried to heal your patterns in every other way and still you can't understand why do I have this specific block, whether it is a money block or it is some other kind of emotional wound. It could be something that's passed down from your ancestors. So even the Holocaust survivors, and even the ones that survived the 9/11, they say through the study of epigenetics that for 6 generations, a trauma gets passed down. So say for 6 generations, the kid of the kid of the kid of the kid will feel the same kind of fears and same kind of limiting beliefs. So some ancestor who has experienced drought and famine, like they've not had food to eat and whatever, this kid now, and it's 2024, is feeling, or this adult is feeling lack in their body. They're like, why do I feel lack? I have everything. A lot of people say, "Sab kuch hai, I have everything. I feel emptiness. I feel sad. I feel like something's missing." There could be those kind of things that we only discover when we do the sessions. So I've seen insane transformation where my clients have had things like, some kind of disorder, or they've had panic attacks and depression and anxiety attacks, and they've had relationship issues. They've been treated badly at work. But once we work on their self-concept, once we heal the inner child, once we use all of these nervous system regulation techniques, we make them feel safe in their body, and they come into an empowered state. They choose new beliefs, new emotional patterns. They learn to be healthy, assertive. No, I won't say arrogant or aggressive, but healthy, assertive, place boundaries in their relationships. A lot of people who don't know how to say no. They just don't know how to say no. They either make excuses or not pick up your phone or not, whatever. And that'll ripple out into bad ways. Or even in their office, they're frozen. Like the boss will say, ye kaam karna, and they're like, yeah, it'll be done. I'll do it. And they won't be doing anything about it because they're sitting in a freeze response. They're not able to do anything. They're procrastinating. People come to me with all kinds of issues like that, and I've helped them uncover. So EFT can help you literally find out the unconscious patterns and the root causes of whatever issue you're dealing with today, whether it's in your relationship, your career, your finances. If you're not able to get a promotion, why you're stuck at a certain stage. There was a client who talked about how they were not being recognized for their work. They were overcompensating. They were doing what their colleagues were supposed to do. Still, the boss was not appreciating them or realizing. And then when we did the inner child healing, it came from the fact that they didn't feel that way in school. And then that was reflecting in their work 20 years later. So all kinds of transformations. I have testimonials on my Instagram which talk about where they came from deep trauma, from all of this, and now they've chosen to be empowered beings, becoming conscious creators of their reality, because we're manifesting 24 hours whether we like it or not. We're manifesting whatever we're thinking and feeling, mainly what we're feeling. So we help them change their emotional signature and energy signature and work on that so they can manifest what they actually want rather than just having whatever was
randomly
happening.
manifesting what they actually don't want, because that's what we are thinking more.
Yes. And I also include and incorporate elements of spirituality and karma cleansing as well. That's something that's also that I incorporate into my sessions. So that's also a part of it. A lot of forgiveness work, lot of things basically.
Yeah. There's a lot to uncover. We need to have another podcast about this. So I'm just booking that right now. Because because you've literally solved so many problems in such a short span of time. There are gonna be uncountable people who are gonna relate to each and every problem that you stated, and you have also given the solution to it. So I hope that it helps a lot of people. So again, speaking of problems, the biggest one right now is either finances or relationships, or combination of them. So any particular technique or anything you can suggest for these two particularly?
So one thing for relationships, I will say that start using I statements in your relationships. A lot of people use statements like, "You came late and you made me so angry. You never pick up the trash. You're always so dirty. You're always so messy. You're always late, and then I get so angry when you're late." So instead of saying that you and always saying the never statement and always statements, you never do this, you always do this, you always make me angry. You say things like, "I get angry, I get upset when you're late. It makes me feel really sad and ignored in our relationship when you spend more time with your guy friends than me." So just kind of using I statements, because then you're not attacking the other person. The more you say,
and the key thing, when and sometimes, not always.
Yeah, that plus the I statement. So basically, when I say, "Ayushi, you're never on time," you're just going to be like, "I don't want to talk to this person. I'm out of here." So you need to not attack the person And it's also just about regulating yourself. Instead of getting so angry, take a pause, take a breath, go into another room, regulate yourself, and then come back and say what you wanted to. Because in anger, we say all kinds of things and we can't take them back. Those words will stay with the person forever. So in relationships, I would say regulate yourself and use I statements so that the other person doesn't have to get defensive. A lot of women complain that my husband is just running away, doesn't want to hear. He keeps saying I'm nagging, I'm complaining, but he should hear me out. No, I'm just saying the same thing. I'm repeating the same thing. He's not listening to you because you're attacking, because you're not using these kind of statements. Use the statement that doesn't make him feel defensive, and regulate yourself. Instead of getting triggered, understand where your trigger is coming from and find a safe space to address your issues. I'm not saying run away. That's another thing that shouldn't be a tangent where people say, oh, she's saying never to talk about it, but address your issues and make it a safe space for both of you to communicate about it, rather than saying that he doesn't communicate. And the more you say that, the more it's going to happen, because you're putting it out in the energetic field, and that's what you're manifesting more of. And for finances, I would say, do what you're supposed to do. Be when you're doing something with passion and purpose and dharma, and you don't understand why the finances aren't here, understand your money blocks, ask the questions. What do I believe about money? Do I think that money is not enough? Do I think money is a scarce resource? Is it a limited resource? Do I believe that we've all heard that proverbial money doesn't grow on trees? Okay. So, those kind of statements.
Yeah. Money is evil, rich people are evil, all those kind of things.
Exactly. And so one big bulbon I can give you, which was a bulbon for me also, is that whatever you judge anybody else for will never be yours. Never. If you say, look at her, she's walking around with a Louis Vuitton bag and 2 PM and just chilling like she has no other work. Secretly you want to be that person who has a Louis Vuitton bag and be walking in the park at 2 PM with nothing to do, and you're judging that person. So it's never going to be yours. What you judge for can never be yours. So you have to catch those patterns within yourself. Why don't you have the money? Are you not happy for other people's success? Are you, do you have beliefs like, money doesn't grow on trees? That if you had to say only working hard can bring you money, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't work hard, but then construction laborers work the hardest in the world. Why aren't they the richest people in the world? So it's not about those kind of concepts. You have to understand and unlearn what you've learned. That will be the biggest thing. That rather than even learning new things, you try to fill it up. Like if this bottle is full, I cannot pour anything more. I have to empty it to a certain extent to pour something new in it. So empty what doesn't serve you, clean it out, figure out, heal with a practitioner or with a course or with wherever you can, and find out those unlimited patterns. So then you can change your reality and change the energy. How you feel about money is how money will come into your life. If money just responds to your energy. So if you feel that money is never going to be there. It's never going to be there. So, and if you say, oh, am I supposed to say like a crazy person, I have money when I don't? No, but start believing in it. Start changing the way you feel about it, the way you believe things about it. So that's where you can start. Those 2 things I hope I addressed.
Perfect. Yeah, but there's a lot more, and every cross questioning that must be going through people's minds. One thing might be going through their mind as well is, how much time is it gonna take for EFT to work on my issues, my problems? This is, I think, a constant question that each of the coaches face, like whether it is anything. And one more thing I want to address before we dive into this is the childhood thing that you said, that maybe teacher said something. So many of my students also have confessed this thing, that they face something in their school when I also do some things, some techniques with them. So they have, many of them, like I can say almost 70 to 80% of them, they say it's about their school, because of which they've developed this fear of public speaking or conversing or communicating effectively, because they were denied that access or to just express themselves. So one thing was that. So now then it comes that how much time is it gonna take? Because people start with these techniques, then they're doing, and they just leave halfway through, that it's not working for me. So let them have a basic criteria about it. I know it depends on the kind of problem they have, but still, let me have you say it.
I'll give you 2 analogies here. One is, again, if you want to lose 30 kgs, You can't expect your personal trainer to help you lose that in 15 days, for example, or in 5 sessions or something like that. If you want to lose 3 kgs, maybe that's possible. So I will give you that analogy in terms of how many limiting beliefs, what kind of trauma, what kind of background, just like you said. Secondly, I'll also say that there is this beautiful video that's been going around on Instagram, which shows that, or actually, I'll give you my analogy is when you have a pipe which is blocked with gunk and you want clean water to drink. So you open the tap and there's a lot of gunk coming out. So you have two choices there. You can either let the tap run for as long as the gunk needs to come out. So that the amount of gunk that needs to come out comes out, and then finally the clean water comes out. So you can drink clean, safe, healthy water. Or you can shut the tap and say, oh my God, that's gunk. I don't want to look at it. Let it be shut. But eventually one day you're going to have to you're going to have to open that tap and you're going to have to sit for as long as it takes patiently for that gunk to come out so you can have access to that clean water. It's the same thing. If you want that space of feeling at peace, feeling grounded, safe, empowered within, you're going to have to have that patience and that love for yourself to understand that for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you've been feeling a certain way. It's going to take some time to unlearn all of that and relearn something new and heal what wasn't serving you, change what wasn't serving you. So just like if I tell you, Aishi, every day you brush your teeth a certain way, you tie your shoelaces a certain way. Let's do it a completely different way from tomorrow. So we're going to do that together every single day. And at one point, it'll become your automatic behavior. But until then, you're going to need that somebody to be accountable, somebody to remind you, somebody to hold you, or some reminder on your wall which says, "Aishi, no, this is not the way. This is the way you're supposed to do it." So for me, I always say that I start with 6 sessions as a personalized one-on-one session because I do know that in 6 sessions I can address a lot of stuff with them, go into their subconscious, and that's just a start. That's why I call it a life transformation starter package. Because I know that it all depends from there, how much comes up, what else needs to be healed. There's been people who've done 6 sessions and they've had great lives and manifested a lot of what they want to do. Some people 8 sessions, 10 sessions, 20. It's just like the same analogy of going to a physical trainer. For the body of your dreams, it could take a year. But if you're happy with your body just having lost a few kgs, then maybe a few months. But then it would also depend, how are you eating when you go home? You can't blame the physical trainer when he's giving you a nutrition plan and you're stuffing yourself with chips and sweets every day and you're hiding and eating all these meals and you're like, just lying down after sleeping every single day and you're doing all kinds of things. But when you come to the coach, you're like, yeah, let's go, let's work out for 1 hour, and then you expect magical results. So it's sort of the same analogy here.
Great analogy. Yes. Solves every problem. So talking of manifestation, any key, small, again, faster techniques that you can suggest for manifestation?
Manifestation, be aware of your feelings, your thought patterns, your belief systems. We all have certain kinds of beliefs, certain kinds of emotional patterns. So be aware. And again, a lot of people think manifesting means being positive all the time. And nothing is further from the truth. It's not about... Nobody can ever do that. Nobody's expected to do that. You are a human living you're a spiritual being living a human experience, and you're here to experience the spectrum of human emotions. So you can be a millionaire. You can manifest the perfect body, perfect relationship. That does not mean you're not going to feel sad, angry, or frustration. None of that. You are going to feel all of those things. Different challenges are going to come your way. But your power to manifest is your power to regulate yourself emotionally and also regulate yourself in different areas of life. Say, if you believe in delayed gratification, if you want to be successful, can you give up 3 months of going out with your friends to create your course and ultimately, have your course be published or your book be published that you're writing on? Can you regulate yourself? Can you believe in delayed gratification? Can you regulate your emotions on a daily basis? Can you clean out your emotional pain every day, every night? Just like we take a shower, clean ourselves every day, clean out your emotional pain every day so that it doesn't keep getting stuck and keep getting added to the pain that was already there in your body. Years of pain, months of pain, weeks of pain. Now I made it a daily habit to clean out my pain. If somebody said something that hurt me today deeply, if it's somebody who's close to me, I will work on myself on the same day and clear out that pain so that I don't feel that grudge, don't feel that anger towards them. I don't carry it in my karma. I don't carry it in my energy. I don't carry it in my body, in my mind. So clean out your emotional pain every day, because then it'll be easier for you to pivot and to the emotion that you want, what you feel, what you love feeling. All of us want to feel joy, happiness. So to come to that state, people come and they have this, it's very cute actually. They're like, oh, I'm so happy. Today also I was happy. Today or yesterday also, last week also, last month also, but still nothing has changed in my reality. I'm so happy go lucky. But no, but there is something in your energy signature, something in your vibration that's not a match to what you want. So work on that with your emotions and your beliefs.
Rather than running away from emotions, just match your vibrations.
Yes, it's a process. It takes time to understand and learn. But yeah, that is something for manifestation. But please don't think that being positive is going to help you manifest. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, perfect. Wow, I'm relating entirely with each and every word that you're saying. So I just want you to just give a rough outlook of the other modalities that you practice so that we can pick it up from here in the next podcast whenever we get to do it. And so that people can at least Google about it. And who knows, maybe they just are directed to a completely different pathway, just listening to the modalities that you're talking about. Because sometimes it happens. You just hear something and it just clicks and it's your calling. And you're just suddenly, like you said, you're just taking an international coach's course and you're an international EFT healer or something like that. So maybe it can click with someone. So just roughly, if you can introduce people to what all things are available there, what all things you have learned and what are they about?
So mainly I have certified in emotional freedom techniques, but there's also been Ho'oponopono in that, a little advanced version of it, not just the 4 phrases. And then there is mindfulness, and EFT itself has mindfulness incorporated in it. So mindfulness is not about just being fake present in the moment. It means being present with everything that you're going through. If you're sad, you observe your sadness and you hold it in your love. So that so there's mindfulness, there's law of attraction. So I've learned all of these things, and so I use the knowledge of what I've learned from more than 10 world-class mentors by now. I have invested in different courses over the last 3 years, and so I combine my knowledge of all of this. So basically, the mind-body connection, EFT, Ho'oponopono, law of attraction, subconscious reprogramming techniques, mindfulness, just all of these things, basically.
Okay. Perfect. So ultimately, what is your ultimate goal in life now? Like what's truly in your heart? That's the tagline of the show. What is in your heart?
What's in my heart is honestly for people to learn emotional regulation, because I feel like that can change the world. And you know why I say that is because not that I've just seen that with clients, I've seen it in my reality. I've seen it all around me. People are going through physical abuse, sexual abuse, in narcissistic abusive marriages, in places where they're having issues with their in-laws, they're having issues in their career, they're having issues with their health, especially in their 30s, because that's many years of going through all of that. But let's say we actually taught children how to self-regulate and emotionally regulate. If we all started to learn emotional regulation as a life skill, we wouldn't be projecting our hurt onto other people. So me being hurt with myself, I can come and ruin your day, Ayushi, by saying something mean and terrible to you. And you being hurt by that can go and ruin somebody else's day. It's a ripple effect. And so if we want to change the universal, the collective consciousness, I would really, in my heart, love for people to learn how to emotionally regulate and heal themselves, because I feel like you're changing, it's a ripple effect. You're not just changing your own life, you're changing everybody's life. Your parents, your spouse, your child, your boss can be affected by, if you're always in a good mood and your boss is like, I yelled at this girl, why is she still in a great mood? You're actually affecting his energy too. And then one day it's going to translate because your aura gets that strong. Becoming more emotionally independent, becoming more emotionally resilient, because people are going through so many challenges in today's world and they just put up, Insta stories and posts which look amazingly perfect, and somebody else is crying saying, look at their life is so beautiful. But they have no idea what's going on underneath. They have no idea what's happening in the layers of their life that they don't show on Instagram, and only choosing to show you the picture in Switzerland. You don't know if they're being abused in their own house. You have no idea about it. So learn how to do this, that not just for yourself, you can spread that energy everywhere, and our collective consciousness can become stronger, and we can, about the mass meditations where actually crime rates have dropped.
I was about to say that.
Yes, mass meditations and brain and heart coherence, which Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, is where you're in that state of love, kindness, joy, compassion, gratitude, and that emits into your energetic electromagnetic field. And then it's a ripple effect to the whole world. So that's in my heart. And I also know that will prevent illnesses. I know doctors don't want us to know this. I know the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want us to know this because it's not gonna help them. But I do know that we have these powers. It's the power of our mind and body where we can manifest literally miracles. And I want people to live healthier and happier lives. Nobody deserves to live with pain and suffering. And a lot of the times we are the ones who are choosing our suffering. We can choose to feel free.
Yes.
And that's my message, to love and empower yourself. That is my message always. Nobody is coming here to save any of us. Nobody is coming and saying that I'm going to love you in such a way that you're going to feel loved. Only you can make yourself feel that love, and that will ripple out. So empower yourself. Don't be a victim of your life and your circumstances. Choose to be the empowered version of you who can empower everyone else around you. So that's in my heart, really.
Wow, beautiful. And nobody can actually really truly save you. It's only you. They can only support you in your journey, but it's you who will make the change. Perfect. So without wasting any further time, I'll just do a quick rapid fire and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
So yeah, so that was my first thing that crossed my mind, that what is your idea of spirituality?
So for me, spirituality, I've had a couple of awakenings, very deep awakenings. So spirituality for me is to really be my authentic self, being connected and feeling the oneness with, for me, it's God. And for people, it can be whatever, source, universe. There's a term that we say Gus, right? That's what I've heard. Gus is God, universe, source. Whatever you resonate with, or your own higher self. If you don't believe in any of those things, there are a lot of people who don't believe in that. For me, it's my oneness, that I am, I have the divinity in me because I am one with the divine. So that is spirituality for me. And it also just, for me, it is the feeling of being supported by the divine and being connected in ways that gives me the power to channel that power from the divine for anything in my life. So that is what spirituality is. And also being sort of emotionally independent in a way where I don't attach everything that I am to something external, because it just comes from within me. So that's kind of what spirituality is for me, I guess.
So what is the first thing you do in the morning and before sleeping? And because both the times we are in our alpha state and we can make the best use of our subconscious mind. So what do you do right after waking up and before sleeping?
That has evolved for me over time. I used to do different morning routines. I've talked about that on my social media as well. Right now, my first thing I do is prayer and Ho'oponopono, because I want to clean out, anything. I don't want to add to negative memories. So I do my prayers and I do Ho'oponopono, and I visualize all my loved ones in that protective energy field, and myself. So these three things, I've kept it very simple for now. And that's pretty much what I do at night as well. So, and I do rounds of EFT tapping throughout the day for myself anyway, what I want to tap in, what I want to tap out to change my emotional state.
Interesting. So what is your biggest accomplishment so far, according to you?
Not my certificates, not the recognition that I've got, but more than that, I would say literally when I've seen clients saying that their lives have changed and they're a different person and they are able to live their life from a space of empowerment and feel that peace and joy that was missing all their lives for 20, 25, 30 years. I think even as a French teacher, I was able to impact more than 650 students' lives. But now as a coach, where I've seen my clients' relationships improve, and they've become conscious parents to their children. They have better relationship with their spouses. They have the best relationship with themselves. For me, that I would count as my biggest accomplishment. And just me being able to just inspire people to find the magic within themselves, which is already there. Yeah, that's pretty much
You
it.
sure as hell inspired me a lot today. So kudos to you. Three habits that changed your life.
Three habits. One is not taking things personally, not making anything and everything about me. So if somebody is saying something, it doesn't mean that it's directed at me. I just say, okay, I bless you and I send you on your way. It could be something that's going on in your life or whatever. And just that habit has changed me a lot. Secondly, just really wanting to live from the inside out. Earlier, I was a very angry person. If you saw me 5 years ago, you wouldn't recognize who I was. I was an angry person. I would react to everything around me. And now, just having the awareness to respond rather than react has been a habit that has taken a very long time to practice. I'm still a work in progress. I'm just growing every day. So that's something that's changed my life. The other thing is having a lot of faith, a lot of trust, a lot of patience. What's the other thing? Saying no has been a very great habit. I was a very yes girl, saying yes to everything and everyone and feeling depleted no matter at the end of it, no energy. And now I'm like, I just say no easily and I don't feel guilty about it to whatever doesn't align with me.
Had you met yourself 5 years ago, what you would have suggested yourself?
Learn about the mind-body connection and don't suppress your emotions, don't repress your emotions. Give your emotions space, allow them to come up, feel them, and treat them like babies. Observe them just passively and observe your situation. Don't blame others for what's happening to you or with you, and know that the universe is working for you and not to you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Oi.
Yeah, that's the advice I would give myself. Learn emotional regulation. That's what I'd say.
Perfect. Books or podcast you would suggest that maybe have helped you a lot or you consume them?
I'm a diehard fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, so I'll always recommend his book, Becoming Supernatural. If somebody wants to start and wants to just read that one book to change their life on many levels, I would say it's Becoming Supernatural. It's also available on YouTube, I think, as an audiobook, so either or. Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zenkina's Manifestation Babe podcast. I love her podcast. I've been listening to it for 3 years now, so that's something I would recommend to people for sure. Kartika Nair, she's also amazing.
Oh,
yes. So I would recommend her. She doesn't have a podcast, but her YouTube channel basically. I think, and sister BK Shivani. So she's someone that I deeply resonate with as well. So again, a lot of people say that there's so many things that are not practical in terms of spirituality, but I always say take what resonates with you and leave the rest, because you're not bound by any chain to resonate with everything a person says.
True. What's your idea of self-love?
My idea of self-love truly is to even love myself at my worst. When I'm going through my worst, to accept myself and to embrace whoever I'm being in that moment, because that's the best way I know how to deal with things is self-love for me, because I choose to not give my power away to everything that's happening around me. That is my way of showing love to myself.
It's powerful. Best compliment you have ever received?
There's been a lot, but like even just the thank you messages on a daily basis that I get in all my WhatsApp, my Instagram, from people that say that they're inspired and they have been able to change their lives and themselves because of the work that I do, that I share. So I don't know about one, there's been so many, but just grateful for all the people that I've been able to impact.
3 personalities that have impacted you the most?
Dr. Joe Dispenza, Kartika Nair, and Siddharth Rajshekhar as well. He's my mentor. I'll say one more. I think Catherine Zenkina as well. Yeah.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Best piece of, okay, that's interesting. I have to think about it. It all starts with you.
Wow. Perfect. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I think right here where I am, it doesn't mean that I haven't had dreams of moving to places like the Maldives or Europe or whatever. But I do believe that I create a lot of safe space and spaces of joy within myself. So just right here where I am is where I want to be.
Okay. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
Teach emotional regulation in schools.
Wow, that is so needed. I have not felt any like this strongly for anything in a long while. This is so damn true. It's so much needed. Thank you for saying that. So I hope it reaches to all the schools. I would personally forward this particular clip to as many schools as possible.
I would really like, that's my dream, because I know children who are bullied grow up to be bullies to people.
Yeah.
People who are bullied grow up to be depressed, have anxiety. I know that everything starts when they're young, 0 to 7, they're in a
Hmm.
semi hypnotic state. They're like sponges, they're absorbing everything in the environment as their reality, as their belief system. And if they were just taught emotional regulation, how to love themselves, how to recognize their feelings, give space to their feelings, I think we would have a very different world, that we would,
World.
different kinds of, the relationships would be better, people would be happier, people would be healthier. So it all starts there.
Yes. 100% agree with you. Lastly, one key advice that you would want to give the younger generation, the Gen Z and the Alpha generation.
If I would have said love and empower yourself, but I know that the younger generation love themselves, but I don't know if they know what that truly means. I think they love themselves with the way they look in the mirror,
Hmm.
how thin they are, how perfect their features are, or what kind of environment they're hanging out in. But the one advice to the younger ones would be, always know that there's a bigger picture and work from that vision backwards if you're able to see it now. And also know that there is nobody. Okay, yeah, the one advice I would love to say this: nobody is more superior than you, but nobody is inferior than you. Please remember that always. Never treat anybody like they're bigger than you, that you put them on such a pedestal. So you lower yourself. Never put somebody down like you are above them and make them feel that way. Just, that would be my advice.
Awesome. Perfect. That was the end of a rapid fire and the podcast. And I wholeheartedly thank you for doing this. Literally, because I have personally learned so many things and I'm going to implement so many things. You have given a new direction. And I'm sure anyone who watches this and anyone who has come till here, they have resonated with a lot of things that you have said. And it's going to help them in, again, so many ways they can't even imagine. And once they start, there's no going back because that's how it is. So thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. Thank you for this honor. And thank you for this invitation. It was lovely getting to know you, lovely chatting with you. And I'm grateful to have been here. And thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to bound you to the next, the follow up of this podcast because there's a lot of things that I still am curious about that I want to know. And we will definitely talk about it as soon as possible. But
Yeah.
for now, thank you so much for this brilliant episode. And I hope it reaches a lot of people and it helps a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you. More power to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Convo with Ash till the very end. I'm eternally grateful to you. I hope कि आपको मजा आया होगा और बहुत सारे valuable insights भी मिले होंगे. So what are you waiting for? Share them in the comments ताकि बाकी लोग भी उसका फायदा उठा सके. And also let me know कि कौन से ऐसे topics हैं that you want me to cover in my future episodes, and I will bring it to you. Do not forget to share this episode with your friends and dear ones ताकि awareness फैलाई जा सके. Speaking of awareness, if you want to get connected with our amazing guests of today, check out the description and you can get connected with them. Check out my profiles too, ताकि आप मुझसे one-on-one connection build कर सके. Also, subscribe to the channel, obviously, because then you will get notified for the future episodes and amazing content of personal development, effective communication, and Ho'oponopono and EFT healing. So keep watching amazing content and amazing episodes on my channel, Evolve with Ayushi. Let's grow and evolve together. Until next episode of Convo with Ayush, stay tuned and I will bring you amazing stuff as soon and as consistently as I can. Keep showing your love and support because that means the world to me. Until next time, love, namaste.